Welcome to another episode of Steven's Study, and you already know the drill. Before we get started, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you like, and make sure you subscribe to PHNX Sports. And without further ado, let's dive into the Ryan Dunn film session. All right, a lot of the film that we're going to be looking at through these first handful of clips is taking place from his performance against the Indiana Pacers in the Suns' most recent game, one of his best of the season. And first thing we're going to be looking at here with Ryan Dunn on the defensive end of the floor, as I just kind of bring it in so that you see where he's at. He's going to be right here. Boom. Let me take that away. First thing we're going to be looking at is his activity defensively. So you see him picking up early, and you see the Pacers kind of get into a little bit of a secondary break, end up seeing a screen. And what we're looking at here, because this is drop coverage and it's something that the Suns have not navigated well defensively, is how well he does his job and how, in turn, with him doing his job so well, it keeps everybody else in the positions that they need to be in to keep the defensive shell intact and ultimately keep everybody in position to finish their job and grabbing a rebound. So you see him in drop coverage, you get a solid screen set there from Miles Turner, but look at how well he competes with multiple efforts and secondary and tertiary efforts to stay connected to the ball. And because he's able to get to this point with Mathurin, to where Mathurin is slowing down and allowing for Ryan Dunn to get back into the picture, albeit trying to wall him off, putting him in jail, if you will, which is what this move is called. All of this is keeping Mason Plumlee from having to fully engage on the basketball. Therefore, he can toe the line between where the ball is and where the impending roller is, and obviously Miles Turner as he gets ready to get downhill. And because Ryan Dunn is able to compete to these extents and stay connected to the initial ball handler, even though Mason Plumlee is in drop coverage, Mason Plumlee stays out of being completely engaged on the ball, and then Ryan Dunn's able to get back into the picture, do his job with multiple efforts, and do a great job all the way up to the contest, to where, again, because Mason Plumlee did not have to completely engage with the ball, he's able to still be in just enough position to ultimately be able to grab or be able to help to end this defensive possession and grab a rebound for the Suns. And as we let it kind of flow through one more time, just watch the multiple efforts from Ryan Dunn. This is an elite level screen here from Miles Turner. Only thing Miles Turner could have done better with this screen is if he had put Ryan Dunn on his backside, which might have teetered the line of an illegal screen. So job extremely well done from the angle to the contact made from Miles Turner. But this is the showcasing of Ryan Dunn, his multiple efforts, his ability to navigate screens, to get hit on screens, but never stick to the point where he's conceding an advantage to where Benedict Mathurin could just go downhill and attack Mason Plumlee. Ryan does a great job just continuing to compete, and you have to beat him multiple times within the possession to truly beat him, because after the initial move, he's going to compete 10 times harder to get back into the picture and find some way to impact the play defensively. And this is why him being inserted into the starting lineup is so important for the Suns, because there aren't enough defenders on this Suns roster as it's presently constructed that opponents just always feel their presence when they're on the court. Ryan Dunn is one of 3 players, 4 at most on this roster, 3 of which that get mainstream minutes within the rotation, that does so every single minute that he's on the floor. And for that reason, and how he helps to strike an accord in terms of balance within the starting lineup and allowing for people to play their more traditional positions in terms of the defensive responsibilities, is why he's going to be so good with this starting group. And especially in helping to set a tone, which is what we're seeing him try to work to do in the early juncture of this game against the Pacers. Get to the offensive end of the floor, and we're going to be seeing some of his positives that he's bringing as his confidence grows and his rhythm grows as a professional on offense, with the ways in which he's guarded, et cetera, by just simply making quick and confident decisions. Whether he has the ball or whether he doesn't have it, the anticipation has been much better for him. And because he's making quick decisions, he's able to either maintain, keep, or sometimes even generate new advantages based off of his quick decision-making processing. So you see Bradley Beal coming off of double screens. There's not going to really be much there. They're going to do a good job in terms of the Pacers and containing him and defending him well. He's ultimately going to just kick this to Ryan Dunn, who's at the top corner of the screen. And watch the quick decision that Ryan Dunn makes and how he's able to generate basically a new advantage after initial advantage that they are working to create stalls out. You see the route chosen on the drive for one, the angle at which he decides to drive at, the confidence with his left hand, which is something I'll completely just continue to speak and shine praises for with him. And the way to play through contact is not a straight line drive in any capacity. It's a rounded kind of curved drive, but he's also going through contact from Tyrese Halliburton as he continues to work to win on leverage downhill, gets to an advantageous pickup point inside that corner of the paint. And because of his size, where it becomes even more of an advantage for him, especially when he's on a move like this, getting downhill, he's able to completely wall off Tyrese Halliburton, who's of similar size in terms of his stature. And then he's able to get to the extended arm, left-handed finish with all types of confidence. And we bring that back one more time for you so you can kind of see it play through all the way. And watch the confidence as he gets the catch. Quick decision, confident with it, gets downhill, and he's able to finish there. It's just good on good from him. He wasn't making this confident of decisions earlier in the season. As we get into the next play here, we're going to be looking at him on the defensive end of the floor. Coming from baseline out of bounds from the Indiana Pacers is ultimately going to be similar screen-to-screener action that the Suns run from baseline out of bounds for Kevin Durant, but even more so for Devin Booker to get open looks. But watch how he competes and watch how he gets back into the picture and ultimately defends with Pascal Siakam. So you see the screener. It gets Pascal Siakam a touch in the low corner. Watch him work to take away the initial drive, which you see obviously Siakam's trying to get baseline. Does a great job of just containing, keeping his leverage, and then watch him as he then works. And he contains so well that even though you see Kevin Durant is right next to him trying to provide extra help as the Suns are in a small ball lineup, Durant doesn't even have to fully commit to the help just because of how well positioned and how disciplined Ryan Dunn is with his defense in the post. It's essentially turning into a Barkley dribbling into the post where you see Pascal Siakam negotiate himself into the post without a pass, but it's because of how well Ryan Dunn defends, contains, and stays disciplined and not fouling, getting up to touch on the catch, and then like I said, just cutting off that baseline, staying contained, being disciplined, doing so without fouling, and then he's ultimately able to get up a solid contest on the ball, and Siakam ends up missing the shot. Doesn't even touch the rim. Just good on good with discipline and discernment with everything that he's doing defensively in tow, decision after decision to ultimately get the stop for the Suns. Then we get back to the offensive end of the floor here. I mentioned the Suns being in a small ball construct on the defensive possession we just spoke to. Now we transition to the offensive side. You see Kevin Durant getting some stagger screens at the top side of the screen. And then after that, we're going to be watching what happens from here. Talk about his quick decision-making from Ryan Dunn. You see how he's being guarded. Miles Turner, the opposing center, is guarding him. He's not worried about him in terms of the catch and shoot. You can tell by the relationship to where he is compared to where Ryan Dunn is in the corner. And you see the lack of urgency on the closeout from Miles Turner. They're not expecting to be running him off the three-point line. But because of Ryan's quick decision-making here from that catch to get it quickly back to Kevin Durant and then sprint into this screen under, stay under scenario, a la Mikal Bridges, for those of you that have been watching my film sessions for a couple of years now, you see how quickly he's able to get into this action and now create new advantage. And how in which he's going about creating new advantage, he's also able to get downhill before the defense can fully react, and he's able to get up to the basket and get up yet another one of those left-handed finishes at the cup, which is what I was speaking to in the early portion of the film session. His trust in the left hand and just his general quick decision-making in these scenarios, whether he's screening, whether he's catching the drive or catching the shoot, or even catching to make another quick pass, has just been so on point for this team. And then we get into the next rep here, looking at him on the defensive end of the floor with Siakam. He's going to do a great job in the post, pushing that catch point up closer to the three-point line than it was when he initially got into his spot. And then we ultimately see him do a great job, doing such a great job defensively with his positioning that he keeps other players from having to be engaged and help or even feeling like they have to give help. And because he's doing his job so consistently and containing the ball, no one else really even anticipates having to help him in these scenarios. And this is him guarding an all-star, a player that's bigger than him in stature and outweighs him, that's a veteran, and Pascal Siakam. And he was just giving him fits in this game against the Indiana Pacers. And then we're going to get back to the offensive end of the floor again with Ryan Dunn. And I want to pay attention to this part in particular right here. So as we bring the cursor in so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. You're going to be looking at this relationship between Ryan Dunn, who started this possession in the deep corner, and Bradley Beal on this isolation touch for Kevin Durant. So as we're watching things kind of develop here, we want to pay attention specifically to the exchange. And the exchange is what's going to ultimately set up shop between those two for Ryan Dunn to then make this 45 cut as Kevin Durant drives. Now, because of the exchange, the matchups between Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton are kind of mixed up. Nembhard's back is completely turned to the action on the backside, so he doesn't see that they just exchange positions between him and Bradley Beal. And that means that him and Tyrese Halliburton either have to switch or they have to switch their positioning to maintain their matchups. And because of that, and how Durant is also able to obviously engage the low defender, it puts the Pacers on the backside in rotation. But because of the timing of Ryan Dunn's cut following the exchange with Bradley Beal, he's going to be stealthy on this 45 cut, goes completely uncovered, and is able to get up a quick soft touch finish around the basket as well. And then on this next rep, we're going to be looking at, again, Tyrese Halliburton Ryan Dunn just doing a great job. You see the Pacers in pick and roll, and then you see Ryan Dunn as a low man stepping in early with his rotation, and he's going to be able to give some great low man help and put up a great contest at the basket. He's just so consistently on time and on schedule with everything he does, and that ultimately is going to flow into a sequence for the Suns at a crucial juncture in the game to where they're able to get up a wide open three, and you see Grayson Allen knock that down. And then we're going to get into a couple of more points here in this film session before we get out of here. Thank you again for your time. We're going to be looking at Ryan Dunn defensively here and just watch his multiple efforts and just track him this whole possession. Gets back out to Dennis Schroeder after navigating the screen off ball, but is disciplined enough to know who it is that he's closing out to. Then does a great job navigating the screen on ball, ends up switching, and you see the aggression with that switch. And now we're going to be looking at the multiple efforts from this point. He's off the ball, staying engaged, solid contest on Andrew Wiggins. That's a miss. The Suns concede an offensive rebound. And watch how he's not just standing around watching. He's just flying around, doesn't really have a matchup yet. They get back into matchups after another offensive rebound from the Dubs. And now watch him as he competes to the defensive glass for the Suns to take away another offensive rebound that would have been for the Golden State Warriors. And then watch how the basketball guys reward his efforts, his multiple efforts on the other side of the floor to cap off this sequence. Knocks down the three. And then we're going to be looking at him again as a low man defensively, doing a great job just staying engaged. And then watch the confidence again with the left hand, decelerates in transition, gets into the finish. And this sequence is not done yet. Watch him get back on the other side, getting back to the defensive end, and watch the help that he provides, how aggressive it is, and how it helps to negate what would have been a bucket against a mismatch for Jonathan Kuminga if he wasn't on time and on schedule with his rotation as the low man. And then here we're going to be looking at him again with another stealthy 45 cut opposite of primary action. And then on the last couple of reps here, we're going to be watching him. This is really the exact last one. Watching him work with just making quick decisions. And I know this is Josh Okogie. I know this is how he's being guarded. I know teams are conceding the three-point shots to him. But Ryan Dunn just consistently making these quick decisions for the Suns, especially with them being in the starting unit, is going to pay great dividends for them, especially because of how he's going to be guarded. And just generally for his growth and how his impact on the offensive end of the floor can help to kind of get closer to matching all of the value that he's going to bring on the defensive end. Reads it, quick catch, quick one dribble, and then a quick skip. And then Okogie's able to finish off the advantage that was created from that pass. And then the final rep here, again, him getting into a left-hand finish, but it's him attacking the catch. This is something that we see a lot of with players like Bradley Beal and even players like Grayson Allen and even Kevin Durant with the Suns. Getting into these catches, but not catching it and being flat-footed. And when you can catch it and you can be in the air and meeting the catch, almost like a wide receiver, working to cut down that angle and then making a decision off of that, it puts you in a position that generate new advantage, but especially for Ryan Dunn getting downhill and attacking closeouts. We see him do just that here against the Jazz. Gets into another really, really, really potential, just really showing you the potential of what he can do with these finishes. And just to kind of round things out here, just looking at things, the last 3 games, he's averaging 7.3 points in the paint. That's up 4.9, almost 5 full points per game on average, up from what his season average was prior to these last 3 games. He's also 79.4% at the rim. That's in the 93rd percentile for wings in the NBA this season. Again, I mentioned his quick decisions and hardly ever being late in terms of the decisions that he's making with this team. He also hardly turns the ball over as well. Another major plus for this team, especially in the starting unit, regarding setting the tone, but also the finish games. 1.9 block percentage. That's in the 95th percentile and puts him in the stratosphere of players like Tari Eason defensively. And he's just bringing everything that this team needs from the wing. And I think that this is a bet on not just the Suns finding a spark, but on him finding a mainstay role in that starting rotation for the Suns.
We all silly like the mayor.